You've been together so long it feels like 18 years, okay?
Wow! Well, this promises to be an interesting heart-to-heart conversation.
Everywhere we go, we turn to paradise. All I know is that I need you in my life. Let me show you how it feels to roll the dice. You know you want it, just say the word. Everywhere we go, we turn to paradise. All I know is that I need you in my life. Let me show you how it feels to.
Hey everyone, this is Peta-Gaye
And this is Allan.
from My Cruising Family here on YouTube, My Cruising Fam on Instagram. All the handles are on our YouTube homepage. And we are here to bring to you the Heart to Heart collab envisioned by Keeping Up with the Griffins, but we were tagged by our friends at Team Reese Traveled. This, I was gonna say challenge, but it's actually a collab. So it's a collaboration of YouTube creators who are all about family and love, and to spread love and encourage family, encourage love, encourage relationships, showing a positive example of relationships here on YouTube and in real life. So we thank Keeping Up with the Griffins for this vision. We thank you, Team Reese Travels, for tagging us, and we're gonna jump right in so you can learn a little bit more about Allan and me. So the first question is, what is your anniversary date and how long have you been together? You want to take it first?
Sure. Our anniversary day is October 10th, 2009. We met each other in 2005 at a step workshop. So we've been married for 14 years. We've been together for 18.
18? Was 18 already? What's that? 2005 to 2023? 18 years.
Yes, we've been 18 years.
I knew the question and I didn't even calculate that. But yeah, well, no. Because we met in 2005, but we didn't start dating in 2005.
Okay, we started dating in 2006.
Yeah, you're conflating question. That's the second question.
So it's 17 years.
Yeah, we've been together for 17 years and married for 14 by the time you see this video, because right now it's not October yet, but this is gonna go up around our anniversary in October 2023.
You've been together so long it feels like 18 years, okay?
Wow! All right, so tell us the story of the first time you saw each other. So since Allan took the answer to the first question, I'll give the answer to this one. So, and he can give an answer if he has a different rendition of this, but we first saw each other in the summer of 2005 when our church, Christian Culture Center in Brooklyn, New York, had its first ever summer step workshop. Allan was a part of the step ministry. The step ministry had already existed. The summer step workshop was just starting. It was the first year they were doing it, and I used to step in college and thought it would be cool to step for Jesus, in other words, but I'd never stepped for church, so I thought it would be cool to step. I was new to Christian Cultural Center, just started going there in January 2005, and thought it would be a good activity for the summer. And so Allan was one of the leaders for the step workshop, and I was one of the people who signed up for the workshop. And that's when we first saw each other, but we didn't actually start dating just off the bat. So that was summer 2005, and then we would run into each other sometimes on the subway, and of course at church. It's a pretty big church, but we would run into each other. I remember there was an event, the fashion show. He was serving on another ministry as well, the hospitality ministry, that pretty much catered to folks, special guests, or members of the congregation. They would serve at different events, and so there was a fashion show at the church, and I remember us chatting in the lobby there. So essentially we first saw each other at church at that summer step workshop, and like for months and months after that we kept bumping into each other. Did I miss something?
It was a beautiful bump, okay?
Did I miss something?
No, you're good.
What qualities and traits do you see in me, and which is your favorite?
My qualities and traits in you. You are driven, you're passionate, you're focused, you're dedicated. Everything that you do, you put your all into it. My favorite is your passion and your desire to bring out the best in everything and everyone that you come into contact with.
The traits I see in you are your desire to provide for your family, your desire to help, to serve. How I met you was serving in church, and you were on at least two ministries, the step ministry and the hospitality ministry. And so it showed a desire to serve from the very beginning. So much so that sometimes before I could get the question fully out, you're doing something that may or may not be what I asked for, but you have a desire to serve that you sometimes don't even stay still enough, okay, to hear what the ask is, but he wants to give. So his desire to serve and his desire to provide for our family are my favorite, are the traits I see in him. But my favorite trait, I mean, I guess your husband is supposed to do this, right? My favorite trait is just his love. Just his love. My favorite trait is your love for me. Yeah. You express that a lot. And
sometimes I overdo it. Till it gets on her nerves sometimes. It is.
Yeah.
But I love her.
So those are the traits I see in Allan, and my favorite one is his love for me. What is the biggest lesson you have learned from each other?
My biggest lesson I've learned from you is to be patient. Allow you to be you, allow you to do what you have to do, and just meet you at your point of need and be able to help you in any way that I can. I've learned patience.
It's funny, I think the feeling is mutual. The biggest lesson I've learned in our marriage and from Allan is to be patient. To be patient.
Yes, I know sometimes our humanities get into the way, and sometimes we sparks fly as we grow and learn from each other, but I love her very much, and she's taught me how to be patient.
Question 5, how do you define love?
I'll let you take a crack at this one.
I think our answers are going to be the same. We have been taught this. We've been taught this from our pastor. We've been taught this through life.
And we practice it every day.
Sure do. Well, I try. I fall short. Anyway, the definition of love is to benefit others at the expense of self. To benefit the other at the expense of self.
Benefit the person you're loving at the expense of yourself. Spending of yourself to benefit the other person.
Yep. I think there's more I want to say, but because I know the other questions coming, I think it'll come out there to give some more like meaning and character to that answer. But that's our basic working definition of love.
And the key word is working.
The next question, how did having children change you as a couple?
Having children, it taught us more patience, it taught us more sacrifice, it taught us more dying to ourselves, getting out of our own way to benefit the children and the other parent.
Yeah, it's taught us patience. I feel weird saying it's taught us because I feel like I'm still learning. It's teaching me patience, and it's teaching me character. There are things that I see in our boys that I'll see a little bit of Allan, I'll see a little bit of me, and then, it then reflects us back to ourselves. Children are excellent mirrors, and sometimes you don't want to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
So my character, any character flaws and things that I have that I know I need to change to be a good example for them, that's one of the lessons that I've learned and I'm learning. So echoing what Allan said, all those things. It's also, I think, taught us more about love, but as he said that because, sacrificing and doing so to benefit our children and each other. It's also like a sort of lesson in balancing, because we have to balance how, what we're sacrificing.
Yeah.
We don't want to sacrifice each other or the children, to love the other. So all of that.
Yes.
Patience, character, love, sacrifice.
Growth.
Question 7. What movie or sitcom couple would you like our relationship to be similar to, Allan?
That question I struggle with, and I still haven't come up with a definite answer yet. Of course, the first one you would think about would be The Cosby Show, because that's the only one I can think of right now. I'm sure there's more, but I've struggled with that question. I don't know if my wife is going to help me out with this one.
What's really funny about that is the automatic answer for me. I was born in 1980. I'm a baby of the 80s. and grew up 80s, 90s, and so the Cosby Show was everybody's, especially every black family's perfect family. And so that is like my knee-jerk response too. So it's funny that we're on the same page with that. However, my real answer, and I promise Team Reese, I'm not stealing this from you guys, but I really completely agree. None of them, because we know that that's just not real. It's something that we've tried actually recently in our content to reflect more of. Life has struggle and tussle. I mean, the Cosby Show did show that, because it definitely showed the kids acting a mess and but life has its challenges, and I shouldn't say that no one else will have the challenges that you do, because I don't believe that. I think we go through challenges to be able to help other people that have similar situations. Actually, the Bible tells us that too. The struggles and things that we go through is to benefit other people. And yes, to build our character, but to be able to share that and benefit other people. And so I don't want to be like another couple, because we have our own journey. But I get it. I get the question, and my knee-jerk reaction was the Cosby Show.
I just thought of another sitcom, but just for the title of it, Family Matters.
Oh yeah.
Just for the mere fact that Family Matters.
It's funny because their family kind of annoyed me, so I didn't really think about them.
Like I said, it's just for the title.
Meh. Yeah. Question number 8. What is something that you think we both have in common?
We love to travel. That is cruising, traveling, and being with each other. We enjoy each other's company.
We do, but I take credit for that. I'm the one who introduced him to all that. That was my stuff. That's my passions. Those are my passions. Something we both have in common is a love for Jesus. That's what brought us together. And that's something we had in common individually. But yes, we do both love to travel.
She introduced me to it, and I haven't looked back since. I'm
Pretty
being honest. I'll give her that. I haven't looked back since.
Pretty much. Question 9. What brings you the most joy in your relationship or marriage? If you want to think about it, I can start.
You can go, yes.
I don't know what I'm going to say yet either. I mean, I think there are a couple answers. One is when we do get away from the cares of everyday life, work, and the hustle and bustle and all that. When we get away and can just spend time and just dive deeper into each other and just relaxing and doing the things that we like to do. Which sounds a little bad, because you should really work in the things you like to do in your everyday life. But I think that brings me the most joy, if I'm being honest, getting away from the day-to-day and spending time with each other. But then that'll make it seem like I don't have the most joy every day, right? Which I don't. Some days are rough. Go ahead, what's your answer?
My joy is her. Don't care how rough my day is, I know that I can come home and she's there. Even whatever it is she's dealing with, I know that she's there for me, and I'm going to be there for her. It brings me joy just to come home, looking forward to her, looking forward to my family. That's my joy.
I can go with that, because to be honest, you're right. Even though the hustle and bustle and all that may not be joyful, sometimes it is. We have good days at work, both of us sometimes, and other days are not so much.
I'm saying your home should always be a safe haven, not a battle zone. I'm saying regardless of what the world pushes out there, you can always come home to the safe haven of your house. And that's what I look forward to every day, is coming home to my house. That's
true. That's a valid point. I do look forward to that. I don't always like the everyday hustle and bustle. I feel like I juggle a lot and I'm always tired. So to be honest, on the everyday, the little things have to bring you joy, and that is probably one of those things, because they know, I think Allan and the boys know that, and my mom even knows. My mom actually lives downstairs from us, and the three of them and I live upstairs. We have a 2-family home in New York, and that is, for me, my happy space when I'm home. So to be honest, yes, that brings me joy on an everyday basis. When I leave work and go home, or when I'm able to work from home, just being home. Home is a safe space. What are some short-term and long-term goals you think we have as a couple?
Short-term goals is just for the two of us to continue to grow to become one.
this two become one, y'all. It don't happen like, I mean, I think in the spirit realm it happens like that. In the physical human realm,
It's a process.
it's a process. Yes. Okay. Short-term goals. Okay.
Our long-term goals is to see the world. As a couple, as a family, and just to bring joy to everyone that sees us and get to know us and understand our heart and our spirit for all that we do. That is our long-term goals.
I'd say that for short-term goals, while I do agree with Allan, two become one, he gave that answer, so I'll give another. Short-term goals is to be very clear about direction, especially as far as My Cruising Family, the business goes. It's something that I, in particular, tend to lead. I record, I plan, I edit, it's a lot. But it is, the vision is a family business. And we've actually talked about it a bit on this cruise that we're on. As you can tell, we're recording from a stateroom because one of the things we love to do is travel, so, and cruise in particular. But just making sure that we are in step with God for our role in My Cruising Family. Making sure that this is God's will. I don't want to do anything outside of His will, no matter how good it sounds or looks. And so short term is to get clarity on that so that we're moving in the right direction. And I say that because it could be a little scary when I realize we know each other's strengths, right? It was just this morning, actually, when you were reading your devotional, and I said, like, that could be Allan's role. I think it's becoming more and more clear to me. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I've had like this bitterness, like, he's not doing this, but he's on the videos with me. But there's a calling for me to do certain things with regard to My Cruising Family. I actually got solidified during this trip with the number of people that have come up to me and said how much the videos have helped them and how much they're thankful for the videos and to keep on doing it, to move forward. So I need to do what God is calling me to do with My Cruising Family, but it may not be that Allan needs to do what I think he needs to do for My Cruising Family. And when he was reading the word this morning, I said, that could be your role. Like, I needed that encouragement. I needed that pouring in of the word of God and the Holy Spirit. So clarity on that is the short-term goal. And I say short-term, not that I want My Cruising Family to be short-term, but I need that clarity for the long-term goal of building a legacy for our children through My Cruising Family. And even if not through this company, even if not through My Cruising Family, building a legacy where they see that you can follow your passions, build a business, you can work in a job that you love. Allan says he loves his job, just to show them, the options that there are. Build a legacy that way to be good examples to the kids in the long term. So those are the short and long term goals that I would.
And that short term goal that she just described, that all ties into two becoming one. We come together and we go in one direction.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. At this point in time right now, today, what are you most excited about in our relationship or marriage?
I'm excited about where we are going. I'm just looking forward to see what the future holds for us.
Okay.
It's an incredible journey, and I just want to see what God has in store for us together as a couple.
I think I second that, only because I feel like we're at a point in time where it kind of goes back to one of the earlier questions, might have been the one right before this. Clarity on the direction to go in. I think we're at a point in time where that's the case. Clarity on the direction to go in. So I'm excited about getting that clarity. I believe that we will. We pray for it. We ask for it. We want that clarity. We seek God's face for our relationship and the next steps. So I'm excited about getting the clarity of what's next, while I've talked about this a lot in Instagram posts, and I try to reflect this as best as possible. I'm excited about the clarity of direction and what's next, while being present in the present with our family where we are right now, and trying to make sure that I'm not so focused on the what's next, because I feel like I have a predisposition for that. So I'm excited about being present right now while waiting for that clarity and that direction. The next question is, in what ways can we continue strengthening and building our relationship or marriage? We can pray together more. You reminded me right before we started this, when you started prayer, before jumping into the questions, that's the foundation for our relationship, and we've fallen off from praying together as regularly as we used to. We used to be praying together before we even got married. So yeah, to make sure that we focus in and strengthen that part of our lives together, our life together. And so that's one, prayer. Two, I'd say truly listening to each other. I talk a lot more about this, but communication is more than just talking. Communication is listening, so that we're truly listening to each other, not just hearing the words, but listening to the emotion and to the messages that we're conveying to each other. So, tightening up that communication where the listening is concerned. So praying together and truly listening to each other.
I also believe spending more time with each other, away from everything and everyone else, and just spending time with each other, understanding each other more, and just appreciating who we are, where we are, right in the moment.
Question 13, what is your love language? And the love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch. We actually each did the love language book, the 5 love languages book, years ago, before we were married, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't remember what it told me I was, but we're gonna go in with what experience is telling us we are. And I'll actually look it up because I think we wrote it in the back of the book where the quiz was, and I'll pop it on the screen to see if we were actually correct by what we're saying here. So what, do you remember what's your love language?
I remember what my love language was back then. But based on where we are in our lives together now, I think my love language right now would probably be quality time. Spending as much time as I can with my wife.
And for me, I believe my love language is acts of service. And it would make sense when I think back to what I said my favorite quality about you is. I think it's acts of service. Okay, so this is the last question on this Heart to Heart collab. And it is, based on your own relationship or marriage, what advice can you offer other couples that may help them in some way? So for that, I'll say this. Our advice to other couples, as we now are 14 years into our marriage, 17 years into our relationship, 14 years into our marriage, is, I'm trying to say it concisely. I could go on all day. There's always a honeymoon phase, and most of marriage, at least for us so far, is where the rubber meets the road in the day-to-day, daily grind, your life together, after the wedding, like real life, right? What I'll say is forgive often, forgive as needed, let's say that. I shouldn't say often, but forgive as needed. What the Bible says, just as your Father in heaven has forgiven you, you should forgive others. So the same kind of forgiveness you want from anybody, from God, from your spouse, from anybody, make sure that you're up for it. Forgiving regularly, forgive regularly, listen, yes, with your ears, but with your heart also. And be patient.
Yes.
We're all works in progress. So yeah, be patient. Forgive, listen with your heart, and be patient.
Understanding. Understand your spouse. Meet them at their point of need. Do not expect them to be you. Don't expect you out of them. Let them be who they are, meet them at their point of need, and understand who they are and where they came from. Because we've been taught that all marriages begin the same way, as a collision of two histories. But the goal is that the two become one. And as the two become one, you understand each other and you grow. So just be patient, like my wife said, be patient, forgive often. You will need it, because we all make mistakes, we all fall short. So just be patient.
Thank you, Team Reese Travels, for tagging us to do this heart-to-heart collab. Thank you, Keeping Up with the Griffins, for the vision and bringing the vision to life for this heart-to-heart collab. We hope if you've been watching that has been helpful. You know, we always say we hope it's helpful or entertaining or both. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much.